Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today I'll be reviewing Ricky Stanicky, now streaming on Amazon Prime Video. So this movie is a new raunchy comedy that comes from the creator of Dumb and Dumber. So he's done some really phenomenal films and some not so great comedies over the years, but I think this one falls kind of in the middle. It tells the story of a group of friends who have been using kind of a made-up friend as an excuse for all of their problems throughout their entire lives. Whether they were kids getting caught pulling pranks, as adults trying to get out of their responsibilities to go, for fun, guys trips, they would make up this friend as an excuse of why they had to go do things. And this friend was called Ricky Stanicky. And at the beginning of the film, they kind of get themselves in a little more trouble than they can handle, so they need to actually have someone be a real-life Ricky Stanicky to prove that they haven't been lying their entire lives. And that's where John Cena comes in this film. He plays the actor who is playing Ricky Stanicky, and I think he's the real standout in this film. He's totally ridiculous, totally over the top, and that's kind of how this movie is. It's not going to be necessarily for everyone. It feels like a movie that's being ripped from decades ago. It's over the top, it's raunchy, it's ridiculous, and I personally had a pretty fun time with it, okay? Maybe I have a little bit of a childish sense of humor. There's a lot of dumb comedy in this one, and there are some moments where maybe the jokes don't land, but I think they hit more than they miss, at least for me. But like I said, it is really immature and won't be everybody's cup of tea. As far as the other characters in the film, I think Zac Efron gives a pretty solid comedic performance that kind of wades into the more drama realm as the movie goes on. Andrew Santino is also in this film as, a great comedic mind in himself. So obviously that playing back and forth all the comedy, all the actors that are in this, I think it works pretty well when they're going off of one another, especially when John Cena's interjected into the story, because he is this just totally over-the-top, ridiculous, down-on-his-luck actor who's willing to do anything to pull off this role as Ricky Stanicky, and it gets it just deeper and deeper and more ridiculous as it goes along the way. I think one of the things that kind of sets the film apart from your typical throwaway raunchy comedy, though, is it does have a lot of heart. By the end of the film, you're really pulling for some of these characters, and it really kind of tugs at your heartstrings in a way, which is kind of unique for this kind of film. Obviously it's not going to be super hard-hitting given the nature of the film itself, but I think it actually pulls off its kind of more emotional tones, particularly in the third act, really well, like surprisingly well in my opinion. You get a complete character arc of some of our characters with some moral lessons along the way, and that's not something I expected from this film. So that's something I personally enjoyed about it. The comedy worked for me, but that extra layering of kind of emotional depth that I wasn't expecting from it really was a pleasant surprise. Obviously, the plot is pretty nonsensical at times, but with a movie like this, I'm willing to kind of forgive that because, it is just a silly comedy. It's not anything I'm trying to drive too deep into. It was kind of enjoyable to watch a film that reminded me of films that I watched in high school and growing up, whether that might be a little inappropriate or not. That's one of these things where it's a film where, on its face, it may seem a little inappropriate and kind of outdated in its comedy. But for someone a little older like me that maybe grew up with these movies, it's interesting to see something like that now without being, too abrasive. So if you end up checking this one out, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Let me know if you liked it as much as me or if you liked it less. I always love to hear people's opinions. Comedy is a really weird genre because there's going to be people that'll go into this movie and absolutely hate it. And that's completely justifiable if it's just not your style of comedy, because it is pretty stupid at times. Obviously, I grew up loving films like Dumb and Dumber, and it does kind of have those elements of that being from the same creator. And obviously, he made some other films that are just so stupid and silly. This one, like I said, falls a little bit more in the middle. But there might be people that like me that like this style of comedy and maybe like these actors and, really be surprised by it. So I'd love to hear your opinions. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.